Hi everyone, and welcome to Tuesday's Tips with Laurie. Today I thought it would be fun. We're going to try a little demonstration on machine embroidery by number. This is really fun. It's similar to paper piecing, and so the actual design I'm going to be using today is off of our new machine embroidery by number fall collection, and this is just fun. I'll show you what it is. It's actually, we're going to make this turkey. Isn't that so much fun? It's a great way to get started for fall. So I'm going to just get started with, I'm going to show you actually another cute little one. There's a pumpkin. That's also on the fall. It's just so fun. Really cute. And they come in 5 different sizes, so it's a lot of fun. So I'm going to zoom in here, if you will, to my template. So in their instructions, it comes with this template, and this is really helpful. This is the best part of the embroidery by number is these little templates because they're numbered and you can see where the turkey is going to be placed. So the first thing I like to do is you can see 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. They're all my same cut size pieces, and they're all the whites. So what I like to do is I put them all together in a stack, and I'm going to put them right here so I know which stack I'm going to be moving to. And then I have my feathers laid out and ready, and you can see these 2 are bigger and these 2 are smaller for my 2, 4, 6, and 8. So you can see I'm prepared now to stitch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stitches or pieces right in a row. So we're going to piece those all together. Then what I like to do is lay out my last few pieces, which we've got the turkey. You can see the head, the neck, and the body right there. And then we've got these, the rest of my background pieces I'm going to get to later. It's so confusing sometimes if you don't have your pieces laid out and ready. You're looking going, which piece am I supposed to get next? So that's what I like to do first. The second thing I like to do is I like to use a darker contrasting thread. You can see how easy this is to see on here. If you were to put white thread on, you'd really have a hard time seeing where you're placing these pieces. So now my template here matches my template over here, and you can see number 1 is the very first piece that I'm going to lay down. So I locate number 1, section little 1 right there, that's this one, and I'm going to take number 1 piece, and I'm going to completely cover with the fabric facing the right side up. That's the very first step to embroidery by machine embroidery by number. I'm going to slide it in here, and we're actually going to stitch.
So this piece goes with the right side up.
Right side up. The very first piece is always right side up. It's different from there on out, but we do start with the very first piece right side up. And I'm going to go ahead and stitch this. And don't panic if your line, you can see that line is longer than what this little square was. There's a reason for that, and that's okay. It's going to come and stitch on the back side of this, and you'll see what happens. So the very next thing I'm going to do is trim. So I'm going to trim the fabric that's on the piece 2 side. So I'm going to trim the fabric right here. It's on this upper side, and if you can see right here, piece 2 is the next one I'm going to place. So I trim the fabric between 1 and 2. So now I'm going to take 2, which is my first feather piece right here, and I'm going to place it right side down this time. I'm going to center it. You can see where that stitch line was. I did orange thread so you could see it. I'm going to just line it right up against that stitch line centered. You see that? Yeah. Then all that you do is you do the next step, and the next step's going to tack this down, and it gives it a 1/4 inch seam. So you'll see that it's going to tack the 2 together.
So there's a placement line, then a tack down line.
Correct. Placement line, tack down line. That's basically what's going to happen through this whole process.
Okay.
And now that I've tacked this down, I'm going to flip it open. And here's a little tool, a little cool tool I love. It's called a folding pin. You can get these from Clover. It's got starch and a little bit of water in it, and I just simply take that and I place it right along my crease. And when you crease it with your fingers, it's as if you did it with an iron. It stays down and it's really nice. These are great, especially for machine embroidery by number. If you do want to use an iron, you can have a little mini iron. Just be careful that your iron's not too hot and it's not going to melt your batting.
Okay.
And that's piece 2. So now we're going to go through that again. We're going to do our placement trimming line. So it's going to stitch the next line for me that goes between 2 and 3. And then I'm going to trim that line. And so I'm just going to take my little nippers and trim that line. And make sure my tail's long enough. So I trimmed between 2 and 3. So if you look here, this is 2. Here's my number 3. That's white, right? So I know which fabric I'm going to get next. It's this one. And then what I'm going to do is place it there. I'm going to place it right side down. So this right side is to this right side. I'm going to center it along that line that I just stitched, my placement line. And now when I stitch, this is going to give it the 1/4 inch seam. And there's my 1/4 inch seam. And you just continue this. This is the basic. You can put the folding pin on this side if you want, and then fold it. It doesn't really matter. It just works great. Because right there you can see here I placed that, and here I did not. Can you see the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Where I've placed it, how well it creases, and where I didn't put that starch, you can see finger pressing works, but it's just not quite as crisp. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so we'll keep going here. I'm going to do my trimming placement line now that goes between 3 and 4. So you just you're looking at these lines that go between 3 and 4 and so forth. And this is really fun when you see 6 come into place. So we'll keep doing this. Are there any questions that anyone has?
Let's see. Ruth says hello from Iowa.
Hello, Ruth. That's nice of you to join us.
And Deborah says hello. Sharon's waving.
How fun.
Let's see.
Welcome everyone who's tuning in. So I'm going to take my next piece of the feather, which is piece number 4. I'm going to place it right side down, centered on that same line, centered on my placement trimming line. And then I'm going to tack that down. And when you tack that down, you're going to finally you start to see that it's forming something. First you're thinking, wow, this is weird. All these weird pieces of fabric everywhere. And there again, I'm going to use this folding pin. Sometimes it's easier to place it right along that thread line that you just did. Oh, there we go. And look at that. You can start to see the feathers. So I'm going to just do about 2 more so that you can kind of get a good idea, because this can be so confusing, especially at first.
Yeah.
Especially at first.
Do you have the directions pulled up? Are these
I do.
step-by-step directions?
These are step-by-step directions.
So that if you get lost and forget which...
where you're at.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can zoom out.
Okay.
So you can see there's step by step. That's step 2, and here's the very first one I placed as it goes across. And that's how I placed piece 2, if you remember, right sides together.
So they are very
step by step, and there is
pictures.
a template on every step for you to follow, and it shows you right where you are.
Okay.
So that's a really fun.
Yay.
And then I know one other question that I think that we've had has been on the screen. Sometimes it'll pull up and it shows all the stitches, and it looks like it's in duplicate because there's double lines. So if you remember the double lines, there's a trimming placement line and then the tack down, a trimming placement line and a tack down. So that's why there's double lines and they're all side by side. So you do have it pulled up correctly if you do see that.
Okay.
It's perfect, just the way that is. That's the way it should pull up.
Okay.
So if you have any other questions,
We do.
I'm
We have.
happy. Oh, yes.
We have one from Shelley. She's
Yes.
asking, where can the starch pen be purchased?
That
How
is
much
a great
is it?
question. It's by Clover, so any quilt store that carries Clover products would be able to get a folding pen for you. And I
Okay.
don't know how much they are. That's a
Yeah,
good
that
question.
is a good
The
question.
cool thing is when it comes, it has a little vial of starch, liquid starch. You just put a couple drops inside the tube. You can see it comes like this. You put a couple drops of that starch and you fill the rest of it with water. And the starch is so concentrated that when you fill it with water, it works great. So it's refillable.
Oh,
So that's the best part. These are
Yeah.
refillable. So yes.
That's great.
Does anybody else have any other questions?
Deb says, holy smokes, I need that pen.
Isn't this great? Could you see the difference? When you
Yeah.
increase it with and without, it laid down really nice and flat.
Yeah. Let's see what else. So what is the pen? We had people come in late.
It's called
what's
a
the pen?
folding pen.
Okay.
A folding pen.
Folding
by Clover.
pen by Clover.
Yes. It's a
Awesome.
super tool.
Okay, let's see. Lynn says that your hair looks great today.
Thank you. I got it cut.
It does
Notice
look
you guys
really
are
good.
great.
Awesome. I think
Oh,
that's it.
thank
If there are
you.
any other questions, we'll go back and we'll answer those just in the comments. All right, anything else, Laurie?
No, I'm just excited to share this with you today and hope you'll tune in next week for another fun tip. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.